It is better by noble boldness to run the risk of being subject to half of the evils we anticipate than to remain in cowardly listlessness for fear of what might happen. In peace, sons bury their fathers. In war, fathers bury their sons. It is better to be envied than pitied. It is clear that not in one thing alone, but in many ways equality and freedom of speech are a good thing. A multitude of rulers is not a good thing. Let there be one ruler, one king. The most hateful grief of all human griefs is to have knowledge of a truth, but no power over the event. If one is sufficiently lavish with time, everything possible happens. Chances rule men and not men's chances. It is a law of nature that faint-hearted men should be the fruit of luxurious countries, for we never find that the same soil produces delicacies and heroes. The worst pain a man can suffer, to have insight into much and power over nothing. Of all men's miseries, the bitterest is this, to know so much and to have control over nothing. Great deeds are usually wrought at great risks. Men trust their ears less than their eyes. I know that human happiness never remains long in the same place. Adversity has the effect of drawing out strength and qualities of a man that would have laid dormant in its absence. If you have 2 loaves of bread, keep one to nourish the body, but sell the other to buy hyacinths for the soul. Do you see how the god always hurls his bolts at the greatest houses and the tallest trees? For he is wont to thwart whatever is greater than the rest. The saddest aspect of life is that there is no one on earth whose happiness is such that he won't sometimes wish he were dead rather than alive. Of all possessions, a friend is the most precious. Circumstances rule men. Men do not rule circumstances. Many exceedingly rich men are unhappy, but many middling circumstances are fortunate. Where wisdom is called for, force is of little use. The trials of living and the pangs of disease make even the short span of life too long. The wooden wall alone should remain unconquered. Some men give up their designs when they have almost reached the goal, while others, on the contrary, obtain a victory by exerting, at the last moment, more vigorous efforts than ever before. He is the best man who, when making his plans, fears and reflects on everything that can happen to him, but in the moment of action is bold. But this I know: if all mankind were to take their troubles to market with the idea of exchanging them, anyone seeing what his neighbor's troubles were like would be glad to go home with his own. There is nothing more foolish, nothing more given to outrage than a useless mob. It is the god's custom to bring low all things of surpassing greatness. We are less convinced by what we hear than by what we see. For of those cities that were great in earlier times, most of them have now become small, while those which were great in my time were small formerly. Happiness is not fame or riches or heroic virtues, but a state that will inspire posterity to think in reflecting upon our life, that it was the life they would wish to live. Hippoclides doesn't care. They made it plain to everyone, however, and above all to the king himself, that although he had plenty of troops, he did not have many men. No one is so senseless as to choose of his own will war rather than peace, since in peace the sons bury their fathers, but in war the fathers bury their sons. Human prosperity never abides long in the same place. The longer the span of someone's existence, the more certain he is to see and suffer much that he would rather have been spared. I believe that the women were called by the Dodanaeans doves, because they were barbarians, and so they seemed to the people of Dodona to talk like birds. I shall therefore discourse equally of both, convinced that human happiness never continues long in one stay. Humans and prosperity never endure side by side for long. Astyages had a daughter called Mandane, and he dreamed one night that she urinated in such enormous quantities that it filled his city and swamped the whole of Asia. The man who has planned badly, if fortune is on his side, may have had a stroke of luck, but his plan was a bad one nonetheless. All men's gains are the fruit of venturing. Death is a delightful hiding place for weary men. Force has no place where there is a need of skill. When a woman removes her garment, she also removes the respect that is hers. Before a man dies, hold back and call him not happy but lucky. Let there be nothing untried, for nothing happens by itself, but men obtain all things by trying. My men have become women, but the women men. Good masters generally have bad slaves, and bad slaves have good masters. The most hateful human misfortune is for a wise man to have no influence. Men's fortunes are on a wheel, which in its turning suffers not the same man to prosper forever. But I like not this great success of yours, for I know how jealous are the gods. Knowledge may give weight, but accomplishments give luster, and many more people see than weigh.